Most people think loving a dog well is about the big things, the expensive food, the long walks, the toys. The research disagrees. 7 small moments happen in your house every day that register in your dog's brain more than any of that. And most people are almost doing them right. Almost. Number 1, hold eye contact. Every time you hold soft eye contact with your dog and they hold it back, something happens in both of you at the same time. In 2015, a team at Azabu University in Japan published a study in the journal Science. They measured oxytocin in 30 dog owner pairs during interaction. When dogs and owners engaged in mutual gaze, oxytocin rose in both simultaneously. Across species, the same neurochemical, the same moment. Then they tested wolves raised by humans using the same protocol. The loop didn't activate. This co-evolved specifically between dogs and us, and no other animal triggers it. When your dog makes eye contact, hold it softly for a few seconds instead of glancing away. Doing that, you're opening a biochemical exchange that no other species on Earth can have with a human. Number 2, talk to them with the right words. The voice you use with your dog, that high-pitched, exaggerated register you would never use in public, is doing real neurological work. But there's a detail most people miss, and it changes the whole picture. Researchers at the University of York tested 37 adult dogs in 2018. They played recordings of dog-directed speech with dog-relevant words. Then the same warm tone with completely irrelevant content. Then normal adult speech. Dogs moved toward the speaker and spent more time near them in only one condition: when the warm tone was paired with words that actually meant something to them. The prosody matters, but the words matter just as much. A 2016 fMRI study confirmed this in the scanner. When 13 awake dogs listened to recordings, their brains processed words with a left hemisphere bias, the same lateralization humans use for language. The reward regions activated only when both the tone and the word carried positive meaning at the same time. Your dog is parsing every word and tone together, and the combination is what determines whether the reward center fires at all. Number 3, greet them when you come home. For years, popular advice around separation anxiety said to ignore your dog when you walk through the door. Don't reward the excitement, keep it neutral. The idea was that a calm arrival trains a calm dog. A survey of nearly 2,000 dog owners published in 2021 found something that should have put that advice to rest. Owners of dogs with separation problems actually reported using lower arousal greetings than owners of dogs without them. The calmer the greeting, the worse the separation behavior. The advice had the cause and effect exactly backwards. A 2014 study measuring oxytocin and cortisol at Reunion found that physical contact combined with verbal greeting was the only condition that kept oxytocin elevated after the interaction ended. Worth noting, those were lab dogs, not family pets. But a real-world survey of nearly 2,000 owners pointed in the same direction. When you come home, kneel down, use their name, touch them. You've got a short window before the hormonal moment passes. Number 4, let them lead with their nose. Most walks are designed around human logistics, a distance, a pace, the dog moving alongside you at whatever speed makes the route feel efficient. From your dog's perspective, that's more or less an escort. In 2019, researchers assigned 20 dogs to 2 groups for 2 weeks. One did structured heel work, the other did nose work, following scents, searching freely, choosing where to stop and for how long. Before and after, all dogs completed a cognitive bias test, a validated measure of whether an animal interprets ambiguous situations optimistically or pessimistically. The nose work dogs became measurably more optimistic. The heel work dogs showed no change, same duration, completely different psychological outcome. Olfactory freedom activates the dopamine reward system in a way that structured movement simply doesn't get to. On at least one walk today, follow their nose instead of your route. You'll cover less ground. Your dog will finish in a better emotional state than if you'd kept them at heel the whole time. Number 5, let them win. There's a widely held belief that you should always win at tug-of-war. If the dog wins, the thinking goes, they get harder to manage. The game teaches them they're in charge. In 2002, researchers tested this directly with 14 golden retrievers. 20 sessions where they always won, 20 where they always lost. The dominance factor in their behavioral scoring was completely unaffected by who won. What did change? Obedient attentiveness went up after play regardless of outcome. And the most playful dogs showed more focus toward their owner after the sessions where they won. There's a separate finding worth knowing here. A study tracking handler behavior during play found that warm verbal praise and physical affection during the game consistently predicted lower cortisol afterward, and disciplinary behavior during the same game predicted a cortisol rise. How you show up during the game matters far more than who ends up with the rope. Number 6. 3 minutes of training before meals. What happens in your dog's brain when you praise them may change how you think about training entirely. In a 2016 fMRI study, 15 dogs were trained to associate two symbols, one with food, one with verbal praise from their owner. For most dogs, the caudate nucleus activated equally to both. For some, it activated more to praise than to food. Those same dogs given a behavioral choice between running to food or running to their owner chose their owner. The method matters more than the duration. Dogs trained with aversive methods showed significantly higher cortisol during sessions and measurably more pessimistic behavior tested outside the training context entirely, as though the stress was leaking into the rest of their day. Reward-trained dogs were calmer, more confident, more bonded. 3 minutes before their meal, easy behaviors, clear feedback. Their brain registers praise as a primary reward. It accumulates. Number 7. Sit with them and do nothing. The last one will probably surprise you because it requires doing absolutely nothing at all. A study on newly sheltered dogs compared 3 conditions: a person sitting passively in the same room, active petting, and play. All 3 produced near identical cortisol reductions compared to dogs left without human presence. Sitting quietly with no interaction directed at the dog was as effective as touch. But there's a 2025 study that adds something to this that changes the framing entirely. Researchers tracked 85 dog owner pairs and measured cortisol in both over time. The variable that most reliably elevated the dog's cortisol wasn't the owner having a stressful job. It was work-related rumination, the inability to mentally leave work at the door when they got home. The dog's stress tracked the owner's mental state, not their behavior, which means this last habit comes down to where your head is when you sit down next to them. Once a day, close the tab, put the phone down, and actually be in the room. Your dog is already reading your internal state. The only question is what they're finding. Here's the thing about all 7 of these. There's no expensive equipment, no hour-long protocol, no dramatic overhaul. It's eye contact held a few seconds longer, a greeting with actual warmth in it, a walk where you follow them instead of the other way around. The bond your dog has with you is written in neurochemicals and cortisol patterns, in the activation of a reward center that treats your voice like food. It's biological, it's measurable, and it gets built or quietly eroded in the moments that feel too ordinary to notice. If this changed how you see the small stuff, subscribe and leave a comment below. Which one of these are you going to try first?